Well, in the classroom, you may already be getting a lot of questions about neuroscience. You might get questions about neuroleadership, about meditation, and you may be wondering, what's all the fuss about? Why is this important? So the big event that has kind of launched all these people in the field talking about neuroscience and saying that it's important for leadership development has been the discovery that we've found out that brains are changeable, and they call that the brain is plastic. And so what this means is that we used to think that people, once you reached adulthood, your brain stopped growing. Well, that's not true. And so the implication of that is that we can change our brains, and experiences can make brains be different, and also that kind of change can be facilitated. And you may be wondering, so how do I make this real? What's a story? And an interesting study that I came across was a study done out of the Max Planck Institute, and they did some research on brain plasticity with women in India who came from a village where women were illiterate. And the goal, as you might think, was to teach the women how to read. And what they did in this situation was they took fMRI scans of the women's brains before they taught them how to read, and then they took scans after they learned how to read. And so what you might expect to find, they did find, is that there were changes in the visual cortex and there were changes in other parts of the brain, that really the experience of learning how to read as an adult changed people's brains. So that's a good way to think about the plasticity of the brain and why this becomes so important. Now, another reason why this is really important in LDP is, as you probably hear all the time, is these people are experiencing a lot of different sources of stress, right? So they don't have enough resources, they have work-life issues, they have political battles, there's all the kinds of change in the world, the VUCA environment. They're under a lot of pressure. And the way our bodies are developed is in such a way we've evolved so that when we experience pressure that comes from the social environment, we treat it like it's physical stress. And so as a human race, we're kind of designed so that if a lion comes or a tiger, or if there's going to be an avalanche, that we can run and protect ourselves. There's the fight, flight, freeze response. And so our bodies are designed for an episode of stress. But what happens is in work, it's not an episode, it's chronic stress. So our bodies are undergoing stress all the time. And so what happens is your body senses a threat. So it could come in through your eyes or your ears or your nose, whatever. You sense a threat. And then your amygdala acts kind of as a communication control point, and it sends messages to other parts of the body. It sends messages to the hypothalamus, which sends messages to the pituitary gland and the adrenal gland. And what happens is there's a cascade of hormones that flow through your body. You may have heard of some of these, like adrenaline and cortisol. And so it prepares your body to run away from that tiger. And it kind of diverts some of the energy, let's say from digestion to your muscles so that you can run, and your pupils may dilate. Some people may get pale, other people may get flushed, but you feel it in your body. And then our bodies are designed that you take some action and then your body resets to normal. Well, what happens today is that our bodies never really reset to normal. So that makes understanding resilience very important, because what we want to do is to make people feel that they have more resources to deal with their world so that they don't feel threatened so easily. And throughout the leadership development program, we're going to be talking about a number of different practices that have evidence behind them, that they help people build up resources for dealing with stress. And so that's another thing that has changed, is over the years, the field has really identified things that work and that can help people deal with the kind of chronic stress that we have.